All right. What are we going to do? There are three cases. I have 23 CR 76, 23 CR 1256, and then
A man stands in court facing multiple charges involving a child, crimes that carry the possibility of life in prison. After years of investigation and disturbing allegations spanning several years, the courtroom falls silent as he chooses to plead guilty. At that moment, the judge prepares to hand down a sentence that will keep him behind bars for decades.
and then 23 CR 1255. Let me put them in numerical sequence. 76, 1255, 1256. I've got, looks like two pleas in 76 and 1255.
1256 is going to be dismissed. I just picked one. Did you have a preference?
That's fine. They're both the
Yeah, so
same.
I don't have a dismissal yet on Mr. Maxwell. So 1256 to be dismissed.
Yes.
All right, to you are Stephen Claude Matlock, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
And you are here with Mr. John West, your attorney and the state's attorney. Does the defendant waive formal readings on these two indictments? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir, please.
In summary, Mr. Matlock, 23 CR 76, which was handed up on April 6, 2023. This indictment alleges that on or about March 11th, 2018. Nope, this says 2016. Is that true?
On the continuous judge. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Through.
It's from on or about March 11th, 2016 through on or about September 18th, 2018. But I'm looking at 1255 and that indictment, he's going to be pleading guilty to, which is a second-degree felony of indecency with a child. It's alleged on or about March 11th, 2018. Are we correct in all of this?
Which one are you looking at, Judge?
1255. You've got March 11th, 2016 in 76, and then March 11th, 2018 and 1255. What are the odds of that being accurate? I think they're long odds.
The dates are because it happened over a course of years, and then we just use that same date because the child doesn't know the specific date, but it happened over a course of multiple years.
Okay, all right. So back to 76. This states that from on or about March 11th, 2016 through on or about September 11th, 2018, sir, when you were 17 years of age or older, that you committed 2 or more acts of sexual abuse against a child younger than 14 years of age, who is referred to as the complainant, namely indecency with a child and aggravated sexual assault under Texas Penal Code violations. That specifically you with intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of any person, you engaged in sexual contact with the child by touching the genitals of the child. And you did then and there with intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of another person engaged in sexual contact with the complainant by having the complainant touch your genitals. And you did then and there intentionally or knowingly cause the penetration of the sexual organ of the child by inserting your finger. And you did then and there intentionally or knowingly cause the penetration of the anus and sexual organ of the child by inserting your sexual organ. And it is finally alleged that you did then and there intentionally or knowingly cause the sexual organ of your sexual organ to contact the anus or sexual organ of the complainant. All of this against the peace and dignity of the state. Signed by the grand jury foreperson. The next paragraph goes on to allege that you were convicted in 1991 in this criminal district court before. I was just a child at the time, before I came here. And this states you were convicted of the felony of a DWI, third degree felony, which would enhance this first degree felony up to a higher level, but we are not moving on that, correct, everybody?
Yes.
That's
Okay,
correct.
all right.
We're just going straight.
All right. All right. So, sir, this first portion that the court has reviewed with you is a first degree felony. If convicted, you face a term of life imprisonment or any term of not more than 99 years or less than 5 years in prison. In addition, a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand the punishment range that is applicable here, sir?
Yes.
An agreement has been reached in your case and by where you would be pleading guilty in this case, sentenced to 25 years in prison. This would run concurrently with the second degree felony of indecency with a child in 23 CR 1255 that we are going to be taking up next. Is that your understanding of the plan, as well as a case 23 CR 1256 will be dismissed? Is all of that true?
Yes.
If I follow all of this in these agreements between you and the state, you have no rights of appeal of your cases. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
How do you plead in this case, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily, that is on your own free will and because you are guilty? Okay, I'm going to hold that one in abeyance just for a moment, and we're going to go to the next case, 23 CR 1255. Does the defendant waive a formal reading
Yes, Your Honor.
of this indictment? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, please.
In summary, this indictment alleges that on or about March 11th, 2018 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the second degree felony of indecency with a child younger than 17 years of age. It says by touching the breast of the child with your hand. Do you understand what you're charged with here, sir?
Yes.
If convicted of this, you're facing a second degree felony of a term of not more than 20 years or less than 2 years in prison. In addition, a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand?
Yes.
An agreement's been reached in your case where you would be pleading guilty, sentenced to 20 years in prison, which would run concurrent with the 23 CR 76 case. And again, cause number 1256 here will be dismissed. Is that your understanding of the agreements?
Yes, sir.
If I follow these agreements, including this one, you have no right of appeal of your case in each case. Do you understand?
Yes.
How do you plead in this case, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are guilty?
Yes.
I show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1 for each case. Did you sign those documents voluntarily? Understand them, discuss them with your attorney. Is everything true and correct here?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 1 tendered into evidence in each of these two cases, cause numbers 23 CR 76 and 23 CR 1255.
No objection.
Without objection, they are admitted. Among other things, each of these State's Exhibit 1s, include the following stipulations and agreements: that you are mentally competent, you are entering your guilty pleas freely and voluntarily, you know what you've been charged with, the indictments have been read to you, you've read them, you are guilty of these crimes and any lesser included offenses, you are giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses, and you are totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All of this is true. It states, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1 made a part of the record in each of these cases without objection. Pre-sentence reports are waived here.
Yes, please.
Mr. Matlock, I'm going to follow these agreements. I'm going to find you are mentally competent to enter your guilty pleas. They are freely and voluntarily made. You know and understand what you're charged with. You are guilty of these crimes and any lesser included offenses. You are giving up your rights to a jury trial, the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses, totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. I now find you guilty in each of these cases beyond a reasonable doubt. In 23 CR 76, you were hereby found guilty of this first degree felony of sexual abuse of a child. And it is Stand by. Okay, did we go on the lesser included offense of the first degree felony on this one? That's
Yes,
what we
sir.
did.
Yeah,
Excess
yes.
assault.
Okay, that, gotta write some things down here.
No, 76 is one on the lesser included. Yeah, 1255 is the second degree, but not. It just affects parole, which way we go.
Yeah.
It also affects his punishment range pretty significantly. It goes from a minimum of 25
Right.
years to a minimum of 5.
But we're pleading 25 either way. It was just the that was what made the difference. Pleading. Why he's doing that? Sign this other one.
I hereby find you guilty of this lesser included sexual abuse of a child. You know what? I'm going to need this back. I'm going to send this back to you. And you need to send it back to me so I can clarify the lesser included findings on 76. Please. And again, I'm following this agreement, finding you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this lesser included first degree felony of sexual abuse of a child. You are hereby sentenced in accordance with this agreement to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 25 years, which will run concurrently with other cases. You understand what has happened today in this case, sir? Yes. Then we go to 23 CR 1255. I find that in this case, indecency with a child, a sexual contact, a second degree felony. You have pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted in this case to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I so find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this second degree felony of indecency with a child. I am following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 20 years confinement in that case. These two sentences shall run concurrently with each other. Clause number 23 CR 1256 will be dismissed when I get the documentation. Stand by. He has to, as one of the provisions of being found guilty of these crimes, sir, you must register as a sex offender. I don't see the registration documents.
Yeah,
Here, give them.
forgot to do
Here,
it now.
you have a hard copy of them?
Sarah.
The law requires you to register as a sex offender, sir. This will be for life. Failing to register regularly and properly can result in a additional felony charge.
I think you could put both cases.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll scan it.
You have now a reportable conviction, 2 of them, or adjudications. So you must register in the sex offender registration program. And Mr. West is going to help you fill those out. And there's a portion that you must sign that states, I acknowledge I've been admonished by my attorney, John West, that I now have a reportable conviction or adjudication requiring me to comply with Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Chapter 62, which is the Sex Offender Registration Program. Failing to do so is a criminal offense that may result in prosecution. So you have to be very concerned about making sure that you register regularly. If you move to another state that has similar reporting requirements for sex offenders, you must register in that state, and failing to register will result in you being charged with another criminal offense. Do you understand the requirements you have, sir, on this? Please make sure you do that when you get it to me. I will sign that. And when you get the dismissal of that other case to me, I will sign that. What do we have next, John? Do you have one more, or is this it?
No, I have the trial.
Okay, all this on.
The Mr. Neely needs to be reset. It's back over there.
All right.
He's
Dismissal, Judge.
Here, what's this? Here.
right on there.
And
That was was actually.
Do the dismissal. She just sent it.
okay, in 23 CR 1256, Stephen Matlock, there is a dismissal in that case as part of this agreement since he is convicted on other cases. I signed that. That case is hereby dismissed.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
Here we go. So we have.
And you can have zone. When we have.
What are we going to be trying then?
Okay, it's so stand the 1535 and 1536.
We're doing two of them at one time?
Yes,
that
sir,
right?
they came out at the same.
And then there's a third one, which we're going to put aside, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Mr.
Just.
Is he in the back, Sustan?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get him out here in a minute when we're through.
With the plea agreement accepted, Stephen Matlock receives 25 years in prison for sexual abuse of a child and 20 years for indecency with a child, served at the same time. The third case against him is dismissed as part of the deal. But the consequences do not end with prison. Under Texas law, Matlock must also register as a sex offender for life, meaning his name, address, and status will remain on public records even after serving his sentence. Cases like this often raise difficult questions about justice and protection of victims. Do you think plea deals in serious crimes like this are necessary to secure convictions, or should cases like these always go to trial?